for Grand 5 here in Spain, and we're set up for a very, very nice race here as our 5th edition of RFL. Johnny, who's won 3 races on the bounce so far, is not here today. Danny, who and today. Chuck is first going to be held one, but very fantastic, well known as that today. One of that's second. Enzo is coming in. How was the late start? First we messed up. Enzo is provisional position. Brilliant Australia. Danny is back with a bang. He's on provisional pole. They're all on hard tyres. They're all going for the really. Debut in RFL. They could be right up there. Behind RFL Bunsen. Yeah, it's had a good recent run of form. Probably should have So, really battling for pole position. Try for the start of the race potentially. Tries and challenge on the lap. Cleanser goes to P1 now. Really on that by Cleanser. They might be shot the door in Australia. In tier 2 lap. He's now doing a brilliant qualifying, and he's now then is on the second. So yeah, recently just joined AMS actually. AMS and today as RFL Bunsen goes to P1. This track is actually ramping up really well. Improving from these drivers. Bunsen is P1 there. Really a lap by the Haas driver. I did not expect that from him. Great lap there by Bunsen. Who's going to be next across the line after the next lap? Porsche is down at the moment. Langman is, I think, he'll be fighting for pole today. Sure, maybe even a race victory. Chandler goes to be in the Mercedes car. The Langman in towards the final string, he's back. Good luck by him. Pole position. He comes through the first sector 22 flat. That's not bad actually. If we look on Bumson, it's a 22-1 that Bumson set. So Anthony up on first sector there. And turn around, down to 7. 7 me, that's that's a drift through that corner, and that's not going to come off any speed at all. It's going to come off a lot more. Round the final corner gives Anthony Beacon, and across the line, well, this it puts in P2 just behind LCR Bumson, and without that mistake in the chicane, he could be so much higher up than that, I think. A long way clear of Bumson potentially. But a good lap by Anthony Beacon, and the man looks set for a positive result today after only scoring 1 point finish this season, which came all the way back in Bahrain, which felt like such a long time ago. Three occasions now where he failed to score points, as Nomad did not improve on his lap, so he stayed in P15 and last at the moment. That was cute, the man second in the championship. He's about to go on a second lap on a new set of hard compound tyres. Sorry, a scrub set of hard compound tyres. He's on a lap now. He's P13 at the moment on representative pace. So Vapid has a lot of work to do if he wishes to start higher up on the grid, and he needs to. Potentially a championship outsider if he can get the results strung together. He's on 38 points at the moment, 51 points off top spot, but in second place. He's leading that mid-pack. He's got to hope for a good result today. Let's have a look. There's a couple of drivers coming out on mediums at the moment. Actually, none on mediums coming out, but they've got it fitted in the garage. So people are getting ready to come out on mediums. X1 Aiden is starting to top place on 5 lap hard. So those cars really going into their range, but it's going to be careful to actually start on those tyres. Those will be crucial. That'll be crucial for his race. If he does, he'll lose a lot of time. But round then, down towards turn 10, goes back to how far is he up on his time? He's 4 tenths up. That will put him quite handily up into the order, into the top 6, potentially, if he gets a couple more tenths in the final sector. So Rapid on a decent lap at the moment, as he comes now through turn 13, down towards turn 14, and then the chicane 15, 16, and then the final corner, turn 17. Rapid doing very, very well at the moment. He's 4 tenths up at the moment. That's a little squirm through that final corner, but can he propel himself up the order? I think he can. That's P7 for Rapid. Not bad at all, and I think he's going to be wanting more though. I think he's going to go onto the medium compound tyres, that middle compounded tyres, and this is going to really open out to see what can people do now. The track's ramping up. Everyone's thinking about pole position, and they're now trying to figure out what is the best way to maximise race strategy but maximise track position. Is starting on the softs the best way to do it? Danny seems to think so. He's sitting on those softs in the garage. I'll stay on fitted for now until we get onto the laps. So Gorsh round then, he's on a lap at the moment, in towards the final sector, and now towards the final chicane he comes of 15-16, hitting the curb there, actually completely cutting it there, but doing it very, very nicely indeed. And round the final corner we go, and with DOS wide open, he goes into P1 by a fraction there on LCR Bumson, just 8,000 of a second, and it's Gorsh Crab 124 on provisional pole position, with Brumson in second place and Anton Beaker in third. Don't think anybody else is on a lap. Vapiku, I think, is backed off on his lap. I think Aiden also has run out of fuel actually, which is surprising. Did not expect him to run out of fuel on this lap because the track gets the escape option, but he has no fuel, so there will be barely any investigation prior to that one. It didn't gain time advantage. As Chandler at the moment, he's coming round and he's beginning his lap on the medium. So this is now what we want to see. This is the battle for pole position. Everyone's going to come out on the mediums, it looks as this, and now we're going to see what is the best way to go about this race. Mediums or hards? It looks like it's going to be everyone's going on the mediums at the moment. It looks like Elliot is going on the hards. But Chandler now coming up towards turn 4 and down in towards turn 4 now. He's a tenth, almost 2 tenths up there in the first sector. At the moment, that will put him up into 6th, so not bad at all for Chandler. He is in the medium. He's got to make sure he gets a good lap here. He started very high up, and he's been a front runner for the first few races. But he's only got 16 points to show for it. He's down in 30th in the championship. He's going to be hoping for a lot more today. A turn in form, really. He could accept the vacuum. He's always been one of the quickest. There he goes, off the track there. He's going to have to back out that one and resave the OS and go again. He's going to have to figure out, though, can he save the OS enough, or is he going to have to go for another run around lap, slow lap, in order to save the OS enough to go for one more lap? I think he'll be able to go next time round, but does he want to wait for the track to rubber in? He could well do that, but I think he went early for the clear track, which others won't have the advantage of doing. Is now everyone's beginning to come out of the pits. Danny, Clenzo, Langman and Nomad all out the pits at the moment on their outlaps. Who can take pole? You've got to say Langman's a favourite, Danny's a favourite, Gorsh Crab is a favourite, Brumson and Clenzo and Antiv are all looking good at the moment. There's a lot of drivers who can take pole position here, and a lot of drivers that, if they nail a lap, will take pole position here. But obviously there's only one pole position spot, so not all of them will take it. So one of them's going to take it, and which one will it be? Leave your predictions in chat. 2 minutes and 50 to go. Gorsh Crab and Vision Pole. But we're going into the business end of the session now. Everyone's on medium compound tyres, and everyone's ready to set a lap. As Chandler has gone on another slow lap, so he's going to go around one more time before setting his proper lap. As everyone now is filing out the pits one by one by one. As you can see there, you can see Ferrari Mechanics let in, I think that's AMF Pred go. You've also got the half drivers of Schweiz and LCR Bumson coming out the pit. So yeah, everyone's coming out now as Clenzo is on a lap as he comes up the hill down towards turn 9. This very fast very fast right-hander. Got to make sure you nail that. As Rampage has joined, probably some spectators now in towards the turn 10 left-hander we go. Getting this lap pretty good at the moment. He's in P4, but that's a little squirm there. Not ideal for him. Really not ideal at all. VMG Clenzo is now in towards the final section we go, the final complex really of the lap. And really this is where time is won or lost in the chicane. And now out of the chicane, round the final corner. Try to scope off as little speed as you can, and round the final corner and across the line he comes. That's going to be P1 for Clenzo, but only by 5 tenths of a second. He only increases his personal best by 6 tenths. So I don't think that's going to be enough for pole position, but it could well be, as Danny is 6 tenths up before the middle sector as Nomad goes into P2 there, 4 tenths away from his bossman teammate Clenzo. And Danny, well, let's go on board with Danny, the McLaren driver, the man who is looking to make a comeback after missing the last 2 races and having a terrible result in Bahrain 3 rounds ago, but he did win in Australia, and this could be a pole position to carry on in good form. As round the final corner going across the line is P1 for Danny, but only by 4 hundredths of a second there for Danny. So Danny's got a bit of work to do. Gorsh Crab coming down the hill now, he's in P4. Let's see what he can do. Is Anti-B can feel first sector, 2 tenths up, so not bad first sector. AMS Pred is 2 tenths up as well. Vapid, he's a long way from the final sector. Adam is actually half a second up on his personal best. Well, with this for him as he comes around the final sector. And across the line, it's going to be P3 for Adam. The man on pole position last week will not take a pole position again today. But it's a good lap by him. Gorsh is only 4 tenths up at the moment, but that is enough to take provisional pole if he can hold on to it. But the years and the fresher tyres on in the final sector as Chandler goes into P1 there on those medium compound tyres, but he's done extra laps on those. That's going to be crucial in the race. As then round the final corner comes Gorsh Crab. Can this be enough to take pole position as he comes towards the line? It's only second place for Gorsh. But who's next? It looks like Elsia Brumson. Let's have a look. It looks like Vapid Q actually. Across the line comes Vapid. Well, this per him. Second place as well. He's displaced Gorsh by 1/1000th of a second and missed out on pole by 2/1000th of a second. Very, very close in the midfield. Langman's retired from the session. Antip Beacon goes into provisional pole by 0.3 of a second. Great qualifying by the Renault driver. So Renault 1-3, not a Renault 1-2 like we saw in Bahrain. But the qualifying session is not over yet. It looks like Adam's backed off. Nomad is backed off again as well. Grumpy Lion is still on a lap as, who was that jumped up there? I think that was Brumson. No, it wasn't Brumson, but Brumson finishing his lap. I think it was Expert Nuthead who fit across the line there. But Brumson ground across the line. He's backed off. He's going to start 11th place. Unless Grumpy Lion can do anything about it. Can he take away 11th and potentially move himself up way up the order? As across the line comes Grumpy Lion. His teammates in 9th and he's on pole position. Grumpy Lion takes pole position but it's not over yet. Clenzo is still a lap. He's a 10th up on his personal best. That will not put him into provisional pole, but it will move him up the order. As round the final corner we go on board with Clenzo. Can he take pole position? He's very, very low on EOS, but he could well do it. As across the line we come. P3 for Clenzo, not enough for pole. A good lap though nonetheless. And that means that Grumpy Lion takes pole position here in Spain ahead of Ante Beacon, BMG Clenzo, Charles Saita, Vapid Coot, and then Gorsh Crab in P6. Big shock of that session. AMS Pred down in 14th, Langman in 15th, and Brunson in 13th. All big shocks down very low in the order. So there is your result for Tier 1 RFL Spain qualifying, and that was a very, very close session. The order was constantly changing, and that was very thoroughly enjoyable to watch from my end. So I'm going to take a drink, calm down for that session and get myself prepared for the race. But there is your results, and as you can see, separating the top 10 just 5 tenths of a second, or 5.5 tenths, and separating the top 8 just 3.5 tenths. This qualifying session could not be closer. Danny and Nuthead setting the exact same time there, and look at Forster 6, separated by 0.03 of a second. This race is set up very nicely, but Grumpy Lion takes the pole position here, and the pole position point with it. Antiv in second, Clenzo in third, Chandler in fourth, Vapid in fifth, Gorsh, Danny, Nuthead, Nomad, Adam, Aiden, Schweiz, Brumson, AMS Pred, and Langman round off your grid. Big shock there at the bottom with those three right at the bottom there. I would expect them to be right at the top, battling for the potentially pole position. So in your chat, leave your predictions for the victor of RFL Spain. And it looks like it's going to be set up for a very, 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 very exciting one. We've got a very jumbled up order, one that I did not expect coming into this race. And I think it's all on pure pace as well, because everybody set their laps on the mediums except for 3 drivers at the back, or 4 maybe. I'll have to double check afterwards. But yeah, only everybody who set a lap on mediums was pushing as hard as they can. But you've also got the disadvantage of some people setting laps on older tyres. I think Clenzo is a victim of that. Chandler is a victim of that. They did an extra lap on their tyres. That could kill their tyres, and that will make their race a hell towards the end of the first stint, and potentially towards the end of the second, because they'll be on older tyres, because he may well have had to pit early. So this race is not over yet by no stretch of the imagination. But Clenzo not really shown great race pace so far this season. Ante Beacon in Bahrain showed good race pace when he started in pole position from second. What can he do? Grumpy Lion also, he's been very consistent in 3 of the races so far this season. He has, or 2 of the races, he started where he's finished. So if that's going true, he's going to take the win today. But we've got many challenges to that. Vapid in P5 as well. His race is crucial because he's the one that could potentially close that gap to Johnny more than anybody else in this field. Same with Adam. He's not too far away, and he's got to make sure that he maximises his result today. Danny in P7. He could potentially maximise his result, and he needs to maximise his result because he's missed 2 races. He had a poor Bahrain, and therefore he's only scored in 1 race, and he's slipping down that championship order. He's got to make sure he comes back today and comes back strong. Let's have a look at the tyres that everyone's starting on outside the top 10. I imagine it to be mostly hard. There's 2 mediums for F1 Aiden and Tries, and hards for the bottom 3. So the bottom 3, not out this race yet. They're going long. They're going to go for the alternate strategy. A safety car like we saw in Tier 2 could completely mix it up, but that was because of the rain, so we won't say that. But definitely they'll go long. They'll lose track position obviously because they qualified low down, but they might as well take the alternate strategy. So, yeah, maybe we'd have to just put out Tier 2 is like 2012 at the moment. It's 5 different winners and 5 races. Make sure you check Tier 2 out after you watch the stream. One hell of a race. But Grumpy Lion starts on pole position ahead of Ante Beacon and BMG Clenzo. Who is going to win this race? It's an open guess here. Jolly not racing today, and this means it's an opportunity that everyone wants to pounce on. And Grumpy Lion set himself up very nicely to do so. So the grid lining up at the moment. We're on board with our last man, Langman, so we know when he's a long way behind the field. He might have had a collision or something on the or spin on the formation lap. But yeah, Pred lining up on the grid now. Langman a long way behind, but he's coming around the final corner now. The AI is taking over, and we'll be getting underway in a few moments. Grumpy Lion on pole position ahead of Anti-Beacon in second place. Cleanser and Chandler on the second row, with Vapid and Debutant Gorsh Crab in P6. Danny in P7 and Nuthead in P8. Who's going to take victory here in RFL Spain? The lights are coming on now ahead of the drivers. Lion on pole, Antib alongside. We're away in RFL Spain. A decent start there by Antib, but an even better one for Grumpy Lion, who gets an instant launch and a getaway there, and he's already ahead of Anti-Beacon. Chandler challenging Cleanser down towards turn 1. He's going to take the inside line and P3 as Danny trying to make a move around the outside. He's going to go a bit wide and lose a couple of positions potentially, as there he cuts turn 2. He's down into P7, which is where he started, as Grumpy Lion gets away very nicely ahead of Anti-Beacon, ahead of Chandler, ahead of Cleanser, ahead of Vapid, ahead of Gorsh, ahead of Danny. Nuthead staying in a similar position to where he started. Nomad jumping at Adam as a side-by-side there, coming through turn 4 and now down towards turn 5. Nomad on the inside, he's going to hold that position as there Danny under pressure from Nuthead. But Adam swung around the outside and had that position. The top 10 is as it was, except Chandler swapped with Cleanser. So a brilliant start there from Chandler. And now his target is set on Anti-Beacon. He sets some brilliant pace, a pacer light there in the opening stages. Oh, as Langman's gone round, Langman's made a collision with Schweiz. Langman's dropped down a bit, but Grumpy Lion leads ahead of Anti-Beacon. And Chandler right on the back of this group as well. It's a huge train at the moment. Nobody's separated apart yet, as Nomad battling with Aiden there for P10, as Preds made a couple positions from the start as well. He's in P12 ahead of Brunson, who's P13. Schweiz, who's dropped to P14, but he'll catch up on those medium tyres. And Langman, who's dropped a long way behind, well, 3 seconds behind on those hard compound tyres. Not a great start from him to his RFL career, as Anti-Beacon on the back of Grumpy Lion on the end of lap 1 here. This could be an opportunity for him in towards turn 1 as we come down the main straight. He's not got that straight line speed. Grumpy Lion has much more straight line speed, and in towards turn 1. Lion stays ahead in the Toro Rosso. Antiv stays in P2. Chandler right on the back of this group. This front three beginning to pull away from Cleanser in P4, but Cleanser's still right there as well. He can get involved in this battle if he can just turn the wick up a little bit. Vapid in P5 as well. This battle at the moment is going to brew on for a long time, as Anti-Beacon having a look down the inside there of turn 5. He can't make the move though, as now out of turn 5 and down the hill we go for the second time in this race. Grumpy Lion still leads ahead of Anti-Beacon, but Anti-Beacon putting the line under all sorts of pressure now. As up the hill towards turn 9 we go. This fast right-hander, the tricky right-hander, important to get a run out of here, because that will give you potential slipstream, but no DOS yet, and this is where DOS is pretty much the only way you're going to get past somebody. As Cleanser right on the back of Chandler. Cleanser's really come into the battle now, as Chandler though is right on the back. The biggest gap in the top 8 really is 5/10 of a second, which is between the two leaders. So really, anybody in the top 7 is on this back of this train and will try and make a move if they can. DOS will be enabled as they exit this final corner onto lap 3 of this race. And Anti-Beacon is not going to have DOS down this straight, but he's going to have a huge opportunity to potentially take something. Vapid Coots at the fastest lap of this race. And Anti-Beacon is catching, but not enough. As Chandler is catching, but not enough as well. As Langman said, the fastest lap of the race at the back of the field in clean air. But obviously that's going to be as expected really, and that's such amazing clean air for him, but it's not where he wants to be. He wants to be fighting up the top front of the field, as Chandler all over the back of Anti-Beacon. He can't make a move though, and he's stuck behind Anti-Beacon for a little bit longer, as Anti-Beacon beginning to lose touch of line, who's beginning to pull away a little bit. The gap is 6/7 of a second, as Danny's got past Gorsh there, and into turn 5 he defends the inside, and he's got the position, and he's up into P6, and his next target is Vapid Coot. The man second in the standings at the moment, against the only other race winner than Jolly so far this season. That will be a battle to watch, but Danny has got some defending to do first from Gorsh Crab. As down the DOS straight we go. Grumpy Lion's now pulled a second advantage, but Antiv's still got that DOS advantage, so not yet job done for Line to get out of DOS range, as Line now mounting that curb up towards turn 11. And out of turn 11, the gap's closed significantly again, and Anti-Beacon is right on the back of Lion, but is it enough to make a move down towards turn 1? And through the final chicane we go. The gap is 5/10 of a second, 4/10 of a second now, and round the final corner, Grumpy Lion ahead of Anti-Beacon, DOS enabled. Anti-Beacon will be closing, but will it be enough to mount a challenge towards turn 1? He's catching, but it's not going to be enough. Grumpy Lion will hold this position without an amazing dive bomb from Antip, but it's not going to be that way. And Antip is going to have to stay in P2 unless he can get an amazing run out of turn 2, but he can't do that. Through turn 3 we go. Lions just pulled ahead and pulled away a little bit. Chandler's coming to the mix as well. He's now 4/10 of a second behind again. And Vapid Coot is now out on the back of Cleanso, with Danny catching up to this battle all the time as well. So Gorsh Crab dropping a little bit back away from this train. It's now a 6-man train for the lead, with Lion in the lead of it, with Antip 2nd, Chandler 3rd, Cleanso 4th, Vapid 5th and Danny 6th. With Gorsh still in the DOS range, but just not close enough to mount any sort of challenge at the moment. But anybody 1st to 6th can make an overtake at any time here. This is how close this battle is, and what a battle this is. 4 laps into the race. Cleanso's got a good run on Chandler actually. He can make a move down towards turn 11. He can't make a move. He goes, he has a little think about it. It's actually, they made a bit of contact there, and he tries to have a look on the exit, but he just can't make a move. And now he's coming under pressure from Vapid Coot and Danny, who are right in this battle, and Gorsh Crab coming back into it as well. Don't discount him as well in the Racing Point car. As down the hill we go, as Chandler's trying to stay close and in DOS range of Lion and Antip Beacon. And I think he's done that. He's going to be in DOS range. He's going to have the DOS, which will make Cleanso's job 10 times harder. As let's ride on board with Antip Beacon for the lead. He could be going for the lead here on Lion. Goes to the inside here. He can't make a move though. He has to stay behind Lion. And Lion still leads. Danny round the outside of Vapid Coot there into towards turn 1. Vapid trying to hold his ground very well now into turn 3. He's going to hold the inside. Gorsh trying to look around the outside there. He's got the best view of this as Danny forced off wide a bit by Vapid. And now Vapid on the inside for turn 4. Is he going to hold it around the inside? No, he doesn't. But Danny, who maybe ran wide, he can't make a move. So Vapid has to drop down to P6, and Gorsh having a look at Vapid down the inside towards turn 5 goes Gorsh, and Gorsh has got the position on Vapid. Vapid can't fight back unless he gets some good run down the hill. He can't though. And Vapid is down to P7 from P5, so disastrous for Vapid, but it's not all over yet. This train is humongous now. It's about 8 cars separated. It's literally like lap 1 at the moment. Look how close they all are as they come up the hill for the 5th time, as Lion still leads ahead of Antip Beacon, ahead of Chandler, ahead of Cleanso, ahead of Danny. And what a battle this is for the lead. One which I've never seen before, especially 5 laps into the race. There is not one car in the field that's more than a second behind anyone. Every car except Lion, who's obviously the lead car, has DOS as they head onto the main straight now. This is something I've not seen before for a long time. As Antip Beacon is going to try and mount a charge once again on the leader of Grumpier Lion. As they come down towards turn 1, Lion versus Antip Beacon. Is Antip Beacon going to be able to mount a challenge? He can't though. It's same old as Danny trying to make a challenge on Cleanso. He goes round the outside like he did on Vapid, and he's done it again on Cleanso. And now on the outside of turn 3, he's going to hang it around the outside. He's going to get better runs through there, and he takes P4. Danny is on a charge. He's climbing through the field, and Danny is ahead of Cleanso. But Cleanso is going down the inside again on turn 4. And he's got the position as Danny then drifts through the exit at turn 4. And Gorsh is having a look down the inside. Gorsh is getting involved here. And Gorsh wants his P5 away from Danny. But Danny holds his ground. And Danny keeps P5 here. And what a battle between these two. And Danny really is the one making moves at the moment. He wants to get some positions. He wants to make some moves. He wants to get involved in the battle for the podium and the battle for the lead. But at the moment, it's Danny in P5 behind BMG Cleanso, who's really kept some good race pace so far, which I did not actually expect. As Gorsh went around the inside there of Danny. Danny's been forced out wide, and Danny's going to have to tuck it behind. Then on the straight, potentially, Danny can come back at him, but Gorsh has got P5, and with Gorsh getting slipstream from Cleanso, it looks like Gorsh will potentially keep that position down the straight unless Danny gets feisty. We think Danny's running potentially lower wings. He's been very feisty down the straight, as the front two have pulled away a little bit from the chasing pack, as Antip Beacon trying to mount another challenge on Lion. It might be difficult to do so though. We see him struggle before, and it looks like he's going to struggle again this lap. Let's have him on board with Danny and Gorsh. They're not getting involved in the battle ahead or behind. So at the moment it still stays the same order as they come up the hill for turn 3 for the 7th time. And I can't believe this is lap 7. This race has gone very quickly as Adam is battling on the back with Brumson. And I think Adam might have just picked up that position as Langman on the back of Brumson now, trying to get some points out of this race after a disastrous start from them and disastrous qualifying as well, as Schweiz having a little trouble there in Haas, losing the back end of Langman down the inside of Brumson. It's going to be a Haas versus an Alfa Romeo, and Langman's got the position up into P13. But in the lead again, Lion led all 7 laps so far of this race, and Antip Beacon is still chasing, but he just hasn't got the straight line speed. Surely he's going to have to lower a wing at the pit stop because he's just not got any straight line speed at the moment to challenge Lion down the straight. As Labour pulled out, everyone is in DOS. That is still the case on lap 7 here. The field has not sped out at all and just proves how competitive it is as one person is retiring. That's Schweiz's I. He's a reserve, he DNF'd last week and he's DNF'd again this week. Disappointing for Schweiz, but obviously he will be back next week and willing and hoping to get a good result in Duel of the Crown, which is Monaco Grand Prix at RFL. Chandler getting nice and close there to Anton Beacon, but not close enough to mount a challenge yet, as we're now approaching a phase where I guess, I was going to say the soft runners will be pitting, but there's no soft runners. But the medium runners will have to start thinking about a pit stop within about 5-10 laps time, and I think they've now got to really manage their tyres, because this battling we're running in the dirty air for everyone except Lion. It's probably giving Lion a huge advantage because everyone's killing their tyres behind dirty air. Well, Lion's just been running in clean air this entire race, not really under pressure from Antiv. Antiv's just really kept him honest, but not really mounted any challenge. So Lion's really sitting pretty at the moment out in front, but he's going to be at a risk of a huge undercut. At the moment, the way it is, an undercut could well gain you up to about 4 positions at the moment. If Nomad pits, for example, if he gains, let's have a look at the lead gap actually. He could gain 3 seconds in a pit stop. He could be in the lead. Any of the top 7 or 8 could probably pit now, or not now, but soon, and get an undercut and lead this race after the pit stop phases. So strategy is going to be more of a factor here than almost anywhere else on the circuit, on the calendar, sorry. As Anton Beacon now is closer than he ever was before to the Lion. He's catching. But it looks like he's going to be too far back, but he's going to mount a challenge potentially on the inside. No, he backs out. He thinks better of it. Lion locks up there, under pressure there. As up the hill we go. Anton Beacon again behind Lion. And Anton Beacon's just a bit too far behind. And he hasn't got the straight line speed to make a move. I think the reason this is so close is because it's so difficult to make an overtake around here. But it's also a very jumbled up grid, as we mentioned, which means that everyone is staying very, very close to each other. Still, everybody racing is still within DOS as the car ahead. So everybody has DOS except Lion, the leader. So ridiculous circumstance and situation we have here in Spain. Lap 9 and everyone has DOS. Up the hill we go. Look at how close Chandler is to Anton Beacon. Looks like Anton Beacon is going to fall under pressure from the Mercedes driver. The Mercedes driver who hasn't yet to pick up a podium this season, only picked up that 4th place finish and a couple fastest lap points and some low points finishes for Chandler. He'll be home for a good result today, and this could be coming his way if he can keep it consistent and clean as he comes up the hill behind Anton Beacon. Anton Beacon's really gained throughout the sector. I think Anton Beacon, definitely running higher wings than the cars around him. He's gaining time on Chandler behind and gaining time on Good Line in front, but can't do anything down the straight. And look at how close Chandler is. Maybe Chandler will be able to catch up and overtake Anton Beacon on this lap. Look at how much he's catching. 3 tenths, 2 tenths, and it could well be done here. As down the inside goes Chandler, he thinks better of it though, as look at Antiv, he was trying to think about a move on Line as well. As Antiv span, and he's hit the back of Chandler. Both of them come together, and Gorsh makes a great avoiding action as he got past Cleanser there. Danny's got past Chandler though, is down to P7, 8, 9. And Antiv Beacon's down out of the points now with front wing damage. No, he's not got front wing damage, he was the one that was clattered into. So he's got away with it without front wing damage. Chandler does have front wing damage. Disaster there as Antiv's lost the back end. And yeah, Labour Red Devil said, Brad needs to lick the stamp and send it. It just hasn't happened for him now. He's at the back of the field, 7 seconds behind. He's going to have to try something different if he wants to potentially mount a challenge for any sort of points today. It was looking also good for him after a brilliant start to this race. He was still in P2, challenging Lion, but it just hasn't worked out for him. As in the end now, he's dropped down to P14. Chandler is now in P13, he's going to have to pit. He's got front wing damage. Really unlucky for both of them. It was Antiv's mistake. Chandler couldn't react in time. Luckily, Gorsh, Cleanser and Danny took amazing avoiding action there to get out of it. Cleanser's gone wide, and Danny's going to get right involved in this battle. And look at Danny now, with slipstream and DOS. He's going to get up in towards P3. Surely this will be an easy move for Danny. As around the outside though, he's got the advantage of DOS and Gorsh, as Gorsh is on the outside of the track, as Danny has made it up into P3, but Cleanser's hanging it down the inside a little bit. Half-hearted move there, but it's not enough for Cleanser to hold on to that position. He's beginning to fall away a little bit, as we kind of expected For Cleanso, he's usually quite bad at race pace compared to quali pace, but he kept a good pace early on compared to what we've seen in recent races. We have seen, oh yeah, sorry, it's Beast, not, sorry, it's Beast, it's just, I saw the green thing in the chat. We both labeled talk before, but yeah, Vapid now on the back of Cleanso, hoping to make a move. He's got to try and keep close to Danny and Gorsh. He wants any chance of winning this race because those two are rapid at the moment and beginning to put pressure on this man who's driven superbly the first 11 laps of the race, but we're only a third into this race. And Lion will begin to fall under pressure very soon if he's not careful, and that will come in the form of Gorsh Crab 124, the debut on his debut, and then Danny F31. So this race is far from over yet. And Lion coming through final corners, he's kept it clean, but now he's under DRS threat from Gorsh Crab. And Gorsh Crab will be catching him down the straight, but will it be enough for Gorsh Crab to make a move down towards turn 1? It looks like it might be, as Gorsh Crab goes to the inside, and he's going to make a move down the inside. He's going to take the lead here, but Lion cuts the corner there, trying to get out of it. Surely he's going to have to give that up. It was side by side, but he cut the corner to gain that position. Keep at the position, and he's actually gained time with Gorsh weaving in frustration there. I think that's going to be something that's investigated after this race unless Gorsh can get past very quickly, because now he's stuck behind Lion for another lap, and Danny then has the opportunity to close and catch in on Gorsh Crab, and Gorsh Crab needs to make this move soon if he wants to come under pressure from Danny. I think this battle for the win is between the front three at the moment, but again, if Cleanso pits now, he could potentially undercut all three of the leaders here and take the lead anyway. And then there's the result, if he can hold it, take the victory. Obviously Spain is a very hard to overtake. I think Lion also needs to lower his wings. You can see Gorsh and Danny were very, very quick in the straights. Maybe struggling a bit more in the corners, but very quick in the straights. And it's just really helping them at the moment. We saw Gorsh, he was about 7 tenths down at the start of the straight. He gained all that time in towards the first corner and made a challenge. And to Beacon with about 4 tenths most of the time and never made a challenge. There's Gorsh corner cutting a little bit there, trying to get any advantage he can, and now out the final corner we go, as Cleanso and Vapid are pitted, all the chasing pack are pitting as a response, but Gorsh on the inside there of Grumpy Lion will have no response. I think he's going to go to the inside though, he's going to try and make a move, he can't make a move though, and puts Gorsh under a little bit of pressure though, and he's now got Danny to contend with, who's right behind as Danny up the hill, and round turn 3, Lion's going to actually fight back down towards turn 4. Gorsh has to defend the inside, but he can't do so. He's locked up though, as down the inside and switch back there comes Grumpy Lion, but he can't make any sort of move, and then Gorsh defending the inside towards turn 5, as you should. He does well there, but then locks up deep in towards turn 5. Cleanso picks up a time penalty, as Adam's out of the race. The man third in the standings is out of this race. He was running P8 and last really of the main runners, except for Ante Beacon. But Grumpy Lion up down towards turn 9 and in towards turn 10. He's got DOS on Gorsh Crab ahead. He's going to mount a move towards turn 10. Down the inside he goes on Gorsh Crab. Gorsh tries to defend it off, but he can't do that. And Lion's going to take the position back. And what a move that was for Lion. He had to make that move. He was losing pace on him. But these guys battling could bring Cleanso into play. Let's have a look at the lead gap. The lead gap is 22 seconds. How quickly is that closing or opening out? Grumpy Lion the lead, says he's going to have to surely pit this lap now. I think that all the three of the leaders will pit this lap. Lion stays out. Gorsh and Danny come into pit. So Lion taking a bold strategy is staying out here. So where will Gorsh come out in comparison to BMG Cleanso, the man who pitted first out of the chasing pack? As Lineman sets the fastest lap there, he's putting Althea Bunsen under pressure. He's made the move there down towards turn 1 on the inside there. He's into P2. But Cleanso now is coming down the final corner. Gorsh is coming out of the pits at the moment. He's just ahead of Danny there. Danny had to brake in order to avoid hitting him. Cleanso is going to take that position, it looks like. It's going to be close. I think Cleanso is going to come along side by side with Danny, maybe behind Gorsh Crab. And it looks like Cleanso is going to get around the outside of Danny. He's going to try and make the move, and it's going to be provisional P3. And it is a provisional P3 for BMG Cleanso. And now his next target is Gorsh Crab in P5. But a provisional P2, and Grumpy Lion I think he made a poor call here to pit when he has. He's going to have to pit the next lap. He's going to have fresher tyres, but I think it might be a poor call. I think it might have cost him a potential race win, as Gorsh Crab really locking up those tyres. They're very cold at the moment, as you can tell. And Cleanso, as long as he can stay within DOS as we head down the straight, he can potentially stay within a range where he can attack Gorsh down the main straight. The interval gap at the moment is 8 tenths of a second, 9 tenths of a second as we head up the hill, but DOS enabled for Clenzo, so he's safe from Danny behind. Nomad's actually gained the position on Vapid through all that. Actually, I've completely missed that through the pit stop phase. As Lion pits, Lion has pitted from the race lead, and this is crucial for him and his charge at the win. Langman sets another fastest lap. Don't count him out for the win yet. He is extremely fast at the moment. Fastest man on the circuit since the start of the race, and he's calmly picked his way through the order. But he's going to have to pit again. And when everyone starts setting the quick lap times, that surely won't last long, as Gorsh then leads out this really proper pack by 1 second. As Lion comes out of the pits, he's going to come out in P2, just ahead of Gorsh Crab, just behind Gorsh Crab. He goes to the inside, he's going to be just behind Gorsh Crab in P5 and P2 of net positions. He's made a mistake on cold tyres, he's made a mistake and lost 2 positions. Clenzo into P5 and Danny up into P6. Lion has lost the position, and now he's going to try and move on Danny, but he can't make any sort of move. He's a bit too far back. As he's he's now down to P7, Nomad in P8, Vapid in P9. But remember, on a net position, this is completely different because Vapid, Langman, Bunsen and Pred are yet to pit. These three are right together at the moment, with Langman leading this battle and Bunsen trying to give chase to the Alfa Romeo reserve driver at the moment. And down the hill we go, Langman actually pulling away to them, the sector nicely there. Very nice setup at the moment on Langman, or very nice cornering it anyway, as Clenzo battling with Danny down towards turn 11, as Clenzo on the inside there, in towards turn 11. This is losing them time to Gorsh Crab in front, and this is not what they need for their battle for potentially the race win, as Danny trying to make him move around the outside of the chicane. Surely you don't want to try it there, because you've got then the long straight coming up, and now he's made a mistake really, and come under pressure from Golian, Vapid, Nomad, and Xbox in that head behind. Danny weaving down the straight, bit in frustration most likely. There's 2.6 is the gap between Clenzo and Danny, as Danny through there on the inside with much better straight line speed takes P5 away from Clenzo, but Clenzo locks up, can't make a move back, and he's going to have to settle for P6 for a little bit longer. But he's going to have to try and make a move back soon, because Danny has much more pace, especially down those straights, and that's going to be crucial in his battle for the race win, which is potentially between Gorsh Crab and Langman at the moment. It looks like Langman's got an electrifying pace on those hards. You're not pulling away from Bums at the moment. Bums is sticking with him. Don't count any of the top 3 out at the moment. They are very, very fast, very, very quick, and could easily get involved at the moment in this battle for the race lead. So Clenzo in P6 at the moment. He's right behind Danny, and they come up the hill. Danny going a little bit wide there. He needs to pull out of DRS inch as soon as he can, because if he doesn't, he's going to come under threat again down the straight. He's got the first straight with DRS with Clenzo, but then through the middle sector, this is where all the time will be gained or lost for Clenzo. And in a dirty air, it will probably be lost. He's pulling a gap though to Grumpy Lion behind, as Langman said, what yet again another fastest lap of the race. Gap is 18 seconds from Langman to Gorsh, and then 20 seconds from Langman to the chasing pack. So at the moment Langman's due to come out in about P5, P6 at the moment on fresh medium, so Langman's in a brilliant position. But same with Bumsen. Bumsen will come out a bit further in this pack. He's got to try and turn the wick up a little bit, because if he doesn't, he's going to fall under pressure. Danny now sets the fastest lap of the race. He is pulling a gap. He's on fire at the moment. He's catching up to Gorsh Crab by 2 tenths in that last lap. Not really enough to mount a real challenge, but in the end of the race he'll be right with him if he keeps up this level of pace. And there's Pred still behind Bunsen. They're losing pace to Langman in front, but at the moment it looks like they'll come out, especially Bunsen, he'll come out in a very competitive position, and he's going to be on fresh mediums. He could be out on for the podium here. Same with Pred. There's a lot of drivers still yet involved for the podium and potentially the race win, but Gorsh Crab is definitely in the best position at the moment. He leads provisionally in this race. He's the lead of the pitters anyway, but he's going to come under pressure from the end of this race, and potentially Danny, but definitely the top 3 at the moment in this race who are yet to pit will be pitting onto the medium compound tyres, which will last into the end of this race and will be very, very quick at the end of this race. Red excuse me, Red bouncing along that curb there behind Bumper, trying to get a good run out the final corner to make a move for P2 here. I don't think he's going to be able to. They don't want to battle too much, because if they do, they're going to lose time to the chasing pack behind, and they lose track position. But Pred to the outside of Bunsen, trying to make a move, being forced off the track there. Through turn 2 he goes, cutting the track. He's going to give the position back to Bunsen. Very sportsmanlike as he tucks back into P3. Rightly so as well, as Bunsen now has really just got to try and lose Pred a little bit. Try and settle into a rhythm, settle into the race, and try and see how he can manage his stint to avoid getting caught in traffic when he pits, because at the moment this race is going. He could come out in a very handy position indeed, as Nomad and Vapid battling there for P8. Nomad getting ahead of Vapid Coot there in the Renault. I'd missed how that happened. These guys have definitely lost touch of Clenzo and Danny in P5 and P6, and definitely Gorshkrab, who's in P4. This field is beginning to spread out a little bit. Still very, very close. 35 seconds separating all the drivers, and with the pit stops, probably only about 20 seconds separating them all, which is very, very close on lap 18 of 33 here. Closest league race I've ever seen in a long, long time this is, in terms of gaps between the drivers, as Danny down towards the left-hander. And this has been probably the best race I've ever commented on so far, but there's a long way to go yet, and hopefully it lives up to that name even further. RFL Spain has been electrifying, as down towards the final chicane comes Danny. He's under pressure from Cleanser, but not too much really. Cleanser just sticking the DRS and getting dragged towards Gorshkrab and away from the chasing pack of Lion, Nomad, Vapid, Xbox, XXF1 Aiden, and Xbox in ahead Chandler, and Ante really in their own races now, just hoping for points. As Nomad actually got past Lion there, down towards turn 1 before even he hit turn 1, and Nomad now has got to try and challenge, get away from this pack and challenge potentially his bossman teammate of Clenzo and Danny F31, who's now with CRG. It's not in his game tag, but it's in his Twitter name. CRG, Danny F31, and Gorshkrab 124 ILR coordinator, of course. So they're all representing their own brands, they're all representing their own teams, they're all representing their own leagues, and they're all really trying to fight hard for this one. And what a race they've provided for us so far. Lion under pressure from Vapid Coot, but still staying behind Nomad. Just keeping on the lead gap for now, because I want to see how Brumson, Fred and Langman are doing in comparison to the field, and see where they'll come out. But as soon as they pit, I'll change it back to the interval gap for you. But Grumpy Lion just behind Nomad, Vapid just behind Lion. This group coming up towards the turn 13 second third sector complex, the difficult third sector, a very, very tricky one. And down then towards the chicane we go, on board with Vapid Coot 74 as Brumson in the pits. Where's he going to come out? He comes out behind, it looks like he's going to slot into the gap behind Clenzo, Danny, Gorsh, that group there. That's a very nice place to slot out. He's missed the traffic, but Pred, meanwhile, has had a front wind change. He's come out a long, long way behind. Not ideal for him at all there. Disastrous for him. He's got a long, long road to recover, but Brumson set up very nicely for a podium here, as Langman's due to come out about maybe even between Danny and Clenzo, it looks like. And it looks like it's going to be a battle for the lead and the win between Langman, Gorsh, Danny and Brumson. I think Clenzo's out of it now because he's on older tyres and he's losing time. And there's Brumson making a huge mistake there. He recovers it well. Oh, that was close to him ending his race and ending his car for the podium. But he recovers it, and now Nomad right on the back of him with DRS as well. He'll find that very handy as well in his battle for Lion, I reckon. And I reckon that out in front, Langman, 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane there. The Alfa Romeo reserve driver is in a huge spot of bother now. He's got a 5-second penalty, which will be added to his race time. He's going to come out the pits. He's going to come out probably about P4. Gorsh coming down the straight now. He comes out ahead. Danny, will he come out ahead of Langman? No, he doesn't. Langman slots into P2 behind Gorshkrab. So the man who was last after lap 1 is now in P2 after Brock with a brilliant strategy and brilliant pace in those hard compound tyres. But now, can he challenge Gorshkrab and then take the lead and pull a 5-second advantage in order to stop himself from losing that victory? Because it's very well possible at the moment he'll lose it because of that penalty. So we'll go back to the interval gap. Just quick reference, Danny's got the fast lap at the moment, but that is due to change due to the fact that you got 4 medium runners, Xbox Nuthead and Anti-Beacon have all pitted actually. So those guys are going for the alternate strategy. I think Anti-Beacon is stuck in the pits. No, he's got penalty or front wing change, and he's coming to the pits on set of medium. Nuthead, who was in that battle, he's actually pitted again, so I don't know whether that's strategy or front wing damage. Pred right behind as Aiden tries to challenge Vapid Coot there for P8 there. This is now proper position. This is what everyone is fighting for that you see on the screens now. So this is a proper battle for P8. They're not fighting for any more, not fighting for any less at this current moment. They could obviously push a little bit more. The gaps are so close. Everyone is separated down to 10th by less than 2 seconds. Some between less than a second as well. As Vapid's in the pits. Vapid Q, the man second in the standings, is coming to the pits. So it's been a disaster for all the drivers you consider as championship contenders. Vapid in the pits. Adam out the race. Brumson doing alright. Danny doing alright as well. But the guys that you'd expect to be right at the front, having a terrible race really, and Danny is really going to have to capitalise on this, and so is Clenzo and Brumson, having brilliant races themselves. It looks like they're going to finish all top 5 pretty much no matter what. Nomad having a good race in Mercedes as well. So at the moment, it looks like a very positive result for Mercedes is coming that way. But now both Renaults are not scoring points. The team that's second in the Constructors are scoring no points as it stands, and it looks like it's not going to change. Gap from Vapid to the nearest car is 15 seconds. So without a retirement, that's not going to change. As Langman is making a move for the lead down towards turn 10. He's gone down the inside of Gorshkrab and he's taken the lead of this race. Gorshkrab is down to second. Langman leads this race, and from last to first, Langman leads the race on lap 22 of 33. He's now got 11 laps to pull a gap to Gorshkrab in order to avoid the penalty. As that's a huge corner cut there from Gorshkrab down towards the final chicane there. Really not healthy for him and his warnings. But yeah, Gorshkrab into P2 now. He's sticking with Enduro of Langman. This will have a battle for the podium with Danny, as Brumson now beginning to charge on Clenzo for P4. As Clenzo still sticking with Danny, as Pred up the inside there of the line. He's taking P7 and on for a good result at the moment. He's now got the MG Nomad next in his sights. The man who's DNF 3 times this season. He's finished 5th in Bahrain. I think he's on for a good result today as well. Currently sitting P6 in a very solid P6. And obviously he's going to come under pressure from Pred at the end of the race, and especially if Lion and Aiden can stick in that DRS, they'll be right with him too. But Nomad at the moment, he's doing a good result at the moment. He's got to keep it on the road now. He's got 10 laps to go really to hold on to it, and I think he will. As Brumson, right on the back now of Clenzo for P4. So I'm having a quick bite to eat. Yeah, Brumson on the back of Clenzo for P4. Clenzo 1.2 behind Danny and not losing that gap. Clenzo's got some really good, strong pace today. I said before, I don't think he's got the race pace really to compete, but he's proving wrong today. He has been really in the second stint the man of the hour really, except for Langman obviously and Brumson at the moment. But here comes Brumson on Clenzo down the inside, and he's going to take that position towards turn 1. Easy move on those medium compound tyres. He takes P4, and now his challenge is now catching and passing the man in P3, Danny F31. This is a podium position right now, and at the moment if he just closes up by 8/10 seconds to Langman, which he could well do because he's on the same compound tyres on very similar age. So it's possible with DOS assistance from Danny and potentially Gorsh if he can catch up. He can still take the win here. So don't count Brumson or Langman out. Gorsh is keeping good pace with Langman, so don't count him out for the victory. And even Danny, if Gorsh gets a couple penalties, we've seen Gorsh getting very aggressive with his curbs in the final corner. Danny could well take this win yet. There are 4 drivers who I think have got a very good chance of winning, and Clenzo is doing very, very strong and a solid job as well in P5. So don't count him out at all, as Pred goes down the inside of Nomad for P6, and he's taking P6 as well. He's going to now challenge Clenzo as he's about 4 seconds behind, so it's a little challenge to do that, but I reckon he can do it if he strings up some good laps together. We can see those mediums are working well for Brumson and Langman, so obviously working well for Pred as well, and he's made some really good moves from P10 to P6 now. And keep this momentum going, keep flying through the order, keep working his way towards the front, and he's not out the running for a strong point finish today. But Nomad trying to have a little look back at him, but with DOS I think on those older tyres he's not going to get back through again, and stays in P7. As around turn 3 and down towards turn 4 we go. Nomad and Pred battling for P6, but it looks like Pred is going to pull away, as now Brumson is within DOS of Danny F31. The man who won Australia looks to be under pressure from finishing on the podium for the second time this season. It would be the first time a driver would finish second on the podium 2 times this season if either of Danny or Brumson get on the podium. At the moment, everyone else, first to fifth, has not been on the podium except for Danny and Brumson. So if either of these two finish on the podium, but the first time we've had a repeat podium winner, except for Jolly, who's been on the podium 3 times so far this season. The only exclusion is Australia, where he finished P4 after the safety car really caught him out there. But Brumson, on the back of Danny, lost the DRS range there in the final sector. Those tyres beginning to suffer a little bit there now, but he's still sitting pretty there in P4. And I think he'll be able to make the charge very, very soon. He's still got more pace than Danny at this stage of the race, and I think let's have a look at penalties. So obviously, you know, Langman has that 5-second penalty. You can see it there on your screens. Gorsh Crab has got quite a few warnings, but no penalties. Danny has quite a few warnings, but no penalties. Brumson has 1 warning. Clenzo has a penalty. That could be crucial in his battle with Pred, who has no warnings. Nomad has no warnings as well. So Clenzo's going to come under pressure towards the end of this race, because his gap behind is only 2.9 seconds. And those mediums are beginning not to work as well, I think. We can suspect if Brumson is now losing time to Danny, which is not what I suspect will happen. So I think those mediums are losing performance, and therefore Clenzo is going to come under pressure from maybe even Nomad as well, if Nomad can close the gap a little bit more. But at the moment it's Langman ahead of Gorsh by 3.5 seconds. The gap needs to be 5 for Langman to take victory here. But with those mediums dying a little bit, as we can see on board with Brumson and Pred, maybe he's not going to do that, and maybe we'll see Gorsh Crab win this race rather than Langman 17 here. It's going to be an interesting finish here with just 7 laps to go. Yellow flag in sector 1. That's hopefully not for Langman. No, it's not. It's for Ante Beacon, who's round in the wall. He's lost his front wing. He's going to have to get out of the way for the lap cars for the leaders who were coming through. Ante Beacon, the man who was running second for the first 9 laps of this race, has now been lapped in this race by our race leader Langman, who came from the back of the grid to take the lead here. He's not gotten the victory yet. He's not even in position for victory at the moment. But Brumson, look how much he's caught up now. He's just 7 tenths of a second behind Danny in P3. As Danny now down the hill and now onto the left-hander, and the right-hander as follows. Danny trying to get very aggressive because he wants to lose this pressure from Brumson. He doesn't want this pressure behind. He wants to kind of have a comfortable P3, as they're actually catching up to Gorsh Crab at the moment. 2.2 is the gap between Gorsh Crab and Danny F31. As you can see, Ante Beacon there. Hopefully he won't get in the way of this battle. Yeah, Danny now under real pressure from Brumson, and what's difficult for Danny is he had dirty air there from Ante Beacon, therefore he couldn't pull away in the in the final sector, which we thought he was so good in. And now look at this possibility that LCR Brumson's got down this straight. Danny already defending the inside there, and now trying to break the slipstream as he can as we come down the straight, down towards turn 1. Who's going to take P3 in the final podium spot in this race? Is it going to be Danny or Brumson? Brumson looks to the inside, but he can't make a move, and Danny stays in P3. And now up the hill we go, onto the right-hander, the long right-hander, the difficult right-hander, and a bad run there from Danny. Gives Brumson the opportunity down towards turn 4. Danny defends the inside, Brumson round the outside. Brumson's going to try and make a move round the outside of turn 4, lap 28 here for the podium, and he's got the position. He's ahead of Danny, and Danny doesn't try and move to turn 5, but locking up there is Brumson. He's going to come under pressure again from Danny, potentially down towards turn 11, unless he can pull a gap very quickly. And he's got now 5-6 laps there to push on and try and catch the second place runner of Gorsh Crab in the Racing Point car. Brumson looks on for the podium here, but Danny is still right behind him, and Danny's been strong in the final sector all day at the moment, and Danny could well get right back onto the back of him, but that's a mistake there out turn 10, and that's losing the back end, and that's losing time, and that could well be his mount to the podium, his challenge for the podium over here, and this could well be at the end of his challenge for the podium as well. As there we go, sliding out of the final corner. That's going to lose him even more time. He's now out of DRS range, even though he still picked it up because of the detection zone. He's out of official DRS range, and he's going to gain it all back though down the straight, but he's really not he's suffering now with his tyres a little bit. 15 laps old are those tyres with just 5 laps to go in this race. And now Elfio Bumson has his sights set on our race leader as the yellow flag in the final sector. Who is that for? I don't think it's for anybody. Lions dropped down to P9. He's really had a miserable second stint after what was a lead battle for the first stint. He's just been completely mugged off in this final stint. He got overtaken by Gorsh, overtaken by Danny, overtaken by Clenzo, Nomad and Aiden. And obviously Pred, Brumson and Langman all had a better strategy really, so that was inevitable. But Lion really having a miserable time of it at the moment. He's been a consistent point scorer so far this season. He scored 3 out of the 4 races so far, all of which in 6th and 7th. And it looks like he's going to get a poor result here today on his standards in P9. Potentially though with some luck, get out of the order. I don't know about Aiden's penalties. Nomad is coming under pressure from Aiden actually. The reserve today, filling in on his debut. We've not really talked much about him. He's done quite well so far in P8. Very solid job, especially when he started. I think it was outside the top 10. I'll double check that. Let me check. No, he started outside the top 10. Rapid Coop picked a penalty. Manny's had a miserable race today. Both runners have a miserable race today. And Xbox Nethead as well. But Nethead really involved us. Anti Beacon strapped on the soft tyres to go for the fast lap. I imagine that Rapid could well do the same. He's actually not a million miles away from Chandler, so we might well just hope him to stay that in that way. But yeah, we could well see potentially the Xbox ahead of Battle pit very soon. It's hard to join the session to spectate most likely. But Brumson at the moment still under pressure from Danny, not really closing the gap to Gorsh in front. Those mediums definitely dying out as we were mentioning before, as Langman's now 5 seconds ahead of Gorsh Crab in the racing point, and now that's a gap that Gorsh Crab doesn't want to know about. He wants to know that Langman's less than 5 seconds, but it's not the case, as I think that's RTS what happened to Vapid. Vapid basically had damage, he pitted, he was running in the midfield, about P5, P6 battling. He had damage and had to pit, and now he's outside the top 10 and really not running well. So the yellow flag in sector 2, who is that for? I think that was from Vapid. He's lost a heap of time there to Chandler in front, so I think that might have been Vapid that had a slight problem there. But actually Gorsh is closing in a little bit again. The gap is 4.8 seconds. It's down the straight we go with Danny. He's catching up to Brumson. He can make a move. This battle for the podium is not over yet for Danny. And he comes now down towards turn 1. He can't make a move. But it's really now a battle for the lead between Gorsh Crab and Brumson, Gorsh Crab and Langman. But Bird takes P5 there ahead of BMG Clenzo. The Bossman driver down to P6 ahead of the second Bossman driver of BMG Nomad, who gone for a good result today, but he's now going to try and defend this P7 with all his might at the moment, because if he doesn't, he's going to lose 2 vital championship points, and in a season which has been quite rotten so far for him, with 3 DNFs and only 1 5th place finish. He needs this result to really boost the championship, get up towards his teammate, who is only scoring 1 point, so Mercedes really need these points, and F1 Aiden can deny BMG Nomad from taking these points at the moment. It looks like he could well deny BMG Nomad from taking these points at the moment, and he could well drop down to P8 Cam Nomad. As now down the straight we go with onboard of Xbox F1 Aiden. Can't make a move in towards turn 10. He's right on board then with the McLaren driver of Danny, looking to score McLaren's first points since Australia, and potentially McLaren's first podium since Australia as well. As now down the straight we go for the 32nd and penultimate time. This is Danny really second last opportunity to take the podium here. I think it's going to be very difficult. Let's just do one more check of penalty. I don't think there's been any major penalties up the front. Obviously you got a 5-second penalty. Another warning for Langman. 1 warning away from another penalty that could drop him down severely. And Gorsh Crab has a penalty, so actually Langman's in a perfect position to win this race. So actually Gorsh Crab has a penalty. He's clear by 3 seconds to Brumson and Danny, so it looks like actually the order's going to be Langman, Brumson and Danny. So Danny may well not have to challenge this for the podium, but he wants that second place. He's the race, he'll go for it, as Langman's got a penalty now, so that means that Brumson could be on for the race win here if Langman can't get the pace up any further. The gap is 7.2 out in the lead. The gap needs to be 8 seconds for Langman to take the victory. Let's have a look at Brumson's penalties, just 2 warnings. Danny, what about him? Just 2 warnings as well. So at the moment, it looks like it's going to be Brumson, Danny, Langman and Gorsh as your finishing order. And what a result this will be for Haas and Brumson if he can take the victory here, because that's something that I did not expect coming to this race, especially with him starting almost last on the grid. Brumson could win this race. We start the final lap of the race. Langman leads ahead of Gorsh, ahead of Brumson, ahead of Danny, but that's not the case on penalties as Danny is catching up to Brumson, catching. Brumson to the inside, he tries to defend, Danny to the outside. This is a battle for the potential race win here as Brumson defends it very, very nicely now on the exit of turn 3. Danny tries to make a move, he has to back off though. He has got on the grass and he lost the time. He needed to try and gain through turn 3 and he's now behind Brumson as trying late on the brakes he dares in towards turn 4. He can't do it, and for this final podium place, but the battle for the lead here, because Langman has 8 seconds of penalties and Gorshkrab has 3, so this means that Brumson and Danny are going for the race win here, but they've got to be within 8 seconds of Langman for it to work. They're pushing as hard as they possibly can. Danny could well fall out of range of Langman here. It looks like he could well do it, but it's now 8 seconds between Danny and Langman. Ante Beacon sets the fastest lap here with just a few moments to go. But Langman, at the moment, he's pushing as hard as he can. He knows this race winner's at threat. 7.7 is the gap between himself and Brumson. That is going to be the gap that we need to watch as Langman cuts a corner there. Try and get any advantage he can. He's got the warning in hand. As across the line comes Langman. He's going to provisionally take the win here. Gorsh will come home second. What will Brumson be able to do? As he comes around the final corner, it's 8.008. It's now 7. Is it going to be enough? It's going to be enough for Brumson to take the victory. Brumson wins ahead of Langman, ahead of Gorsh, ahead of Danny there. All separated by 0.5 of a second. Oh, so close between them all. As Pred comes home in P5. And Clenzo comes home in P6. Aiden and Nomad then follow through. Nomad did actually get caught by Aiden in the end, but then Chandler got in ahead of Lion at the end of the race. Vapid Coot rounds off a miserable day for Renault ahead of Nuthead, ahead of Ante Beacon, who Ante Beacon will get the fastest lap of the race. But what a finish that was. Brumson, Langman, Gorsh and Danny, the penalty battle really. And it came down. It was 0.3 of a second really, but crossed the line between, well, 0.5 across the line between Brumson and Danny, but that was the difference between first and fourth, and these fine margins in RFL can mean all the difference, and that was one hell of a race we saw as there's Ante Beacon celebrating a last place across the line, as his teammate there span across the line, and there comes Ante Beacon across the line there. Xbox Nuthead, miserable day for him as well, but he comes home in P12, and he'll be disappointed with that, especially with what was going to be a decent points finish there. He stops and do some donuts maybe. No, he just grabs it across the line. Brumson wins ahead of Langman, ahead of Gorsh. What a race that was. So we'll invite our podium drivers in for an interview, and I think Brumson's going to be absolutely chuffed with that. He is our first race winner other than Jolly and Danny so far this season. And 0.5 of a second after all the penalties, and Langman getting that penalty at the end really changed the game in the order. But Brumson has taken victory here today for Haas. With his teammate not attending today, Brumson's really done the maximum he can. He got the win, and he's got it in really good style. As we got our podium drivers here, so we'll just remind you to conclude the audio. But Brumson, we'll start with you. So P1 for you today. And I mean, that came from pretty much nowhere in the end, because I don't think you were expected to challenge, with or without penalties, Langman or Gorsh, or especially Langman on the same strategy. I don't think you were expected to challenge them today. How did you do that?
To be honest, I thought second or third was the maximum possible, seeing Langman's pace, and yeah, I was trying to be within Gorsh to get second maybe, and then I saw I was first apparently, and yeah, I'm ecstatic really. The differences are so small, so I'm really lucky I got first today.
Yeah, as you can see, just 0.5 of a second separating first to fourth in the end now after all the penalties were applied.
Yep.
So on to your race though. You started P13. What happened in qualifying that made you so low down?
Well, I had a pretty good run on the hard compound tire, but Yeah, the first two sectors on my medium run were alright, but then I bottled the final sector, and then I was like, oh, gonna just start on the hards, and I broke before the line, just start on the hards, really, try the alternate strategy, go for a ballsy move this time, and yeah, it paid out apparently.
Yep. So yeah, your race really really good. As a whole, I really have no question because it was just you really were quite quiet through the field. But when you pitted for that final time, did you expect to come out where you did, or did you think you'd be a lot further back? Because before the pit stop unfolded, I actually thought you'd be much further back.
Yeah, I had some good pace on the hards, but I made a mistake, and I believe Langman and me made contact when he passed me just after. So I was in a bit of um, of a bad mood then. But yeah, as I pitted, I knew my pace on the hards was good, and then I was going to be like P7 or P6, but I came out P5, and I think that really helped me win this race, if I'm honest.
Yep. I have no more questions for you. So congratulations on your win today. I think
Thank
I'll
you.
now move you up into second in the championship. So are you
Oh
going to be the one
God,
to challenge Jolly this season?
absolutely not. I'm absent next week, so I'm gonna lose points then. So, but no, I'm not up to Jolly's pace. I think maybe on good tracks like Spain for me, but on other tracks, just way off the pace for now. But I'll try my hardest to catch up in the remainder of the season.
Yep. Well, congratulations. We'll move on to our second place driver, Langman 17. From the back of the grid to second, you were looking comfortable for that win, and then you got that penalty. What happened?
Oh, well, I've no words. It's from the start. It's like I was trying to handicap myself not to win the race. Like I bowled quali, and then I spent about 10 laps. I think there was a massive train from literally first to like I spun on the first lap, so I had some catching up to do as well. So I was stuck in a train for about a good third of the race, and then took quite a bit of overtaking to get to where I was. And then I just started cranking fastest laps, and then hit for mediums. Like I thought it was comfortable. And I sped in the pits, and then I got a penalty. So and it was so close at the end. As soon as I got that penalty, I started like going for it. It's hot lap and everything, and it just wasn't enough.
Yeah. Well, before that, it was pretty much like a really, really controlled race after you got into the lead. Was it the strategy that got you there, or do you think if you managed to qualify higher up where you should have been on the mediums, do you think you still would have won that race, or do you think it was all about the strategy in the end?
Well, the strategy like enabled me to get super good clear air, so there was none of that battling or anything. I mean, I think our pace is all right, but the strategy was pretty good. But it worked well for me.
Yeah, well, congratulations on second place. I have no further questions, so we'll move on to Gorsh in P3. And Gorsh, you were the lead driver on the mediums in the end. Obviously, that 3-second penalty put you under huge pressure towards the end of the race. So, just talk us through the end of that race with you having that penalty and you had Danny and Brumson behind, and in the end, it was super, super close.
Yeah, it was alright. I think I probably had the win inside me today, but obviously so did everyone in this top three. As in, like, I had probably a bit more pace that I couldn't unlock. The last bit of the race was just about pushing as hard as I could. I was under pressure on the ERS and the fuel. I didn't really know how it was going to go because I could finish either first or fourth. So there was like quite a big range of possibilities that could have came from that race. But I'm relatively happy with a podium. Obviously, it's like glass half full for me because I could have got the win there, but I didn't, and I wasn't good enough to win today. And a podium's still a good result, so good way to start my time in this league.
Yep. Well, looking forward though, you look like you were one of the quickest ones out there, along with probably Langman, Danny, and maybe even Brunson as well. Obviously, with the return of Jolly next week, do you think you can mount him a challenge as well as Langman and Danny, who will probably be with you as well?
What's the track next week?
Monaco.
Azerbaijan, mate.
I don't know. I've not tried Monaco yet on this really too much on this game, and it's just that's going to be about keeping out the barriers. So I'm going to try and hopefully get close to them in Monaco, but I think it's going to be a tall order because then again Langman's on the pad. I'm not too sure really. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, congratulations on third. I think that'll be everything from today's stream. Obviously, I would ask my co-commentator if they have any questions, but I don't have one today. So that's everything from today's stream, and thank you all for watching. That was one hell of a race, probably my favourite race I've commented on for a long, long time. We had amazing battles. Everyone had DOS on lap 10 pretty much, all the way until about then, and then we had an amazing battle at the end for the win. And although it wasn't like that on track after penalties, it was just 0.5 of a second separating the top four, with Danny coming home P4. What a race that was, and we'll see you next time out in Monaco, the Jewel of the Crown. We'll see you then. Goodbye.